and welcome to the latest bonus chat from our weekly pod recording. If you missed it, myself and Conor looked at both the Lions and the Irish under-20s. Do check it out on Apple, Spotify, and all the other usual places. Now, for now, we want to look at the senior Irish team. Paul O'Connell is the head coach and Craig Casey the skipper for a two-match series. First on Saturday, July the 5th against Georgia in Tbilisi. Then a week later, they'll be in Lisbon to play Portugal. Now, with so many Irish players involved in the Lions tour, it is, of course, an excellent chance to take a look at the wider squad. How do you see this going, Conor?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for people who haven't had big opportunities yet. I have no doubt in my mind that once the Lions are finished playing on Saturday, that Andy Farrell will have found himself a stream, or somebody will be, just sending it to him on a WhatsApp chat or something, for him to have a chance to look at how the lads get on. And it really is a great opportunity for them. I think, firstly, I'm delighted for Craig Casey. He's really, since coming back from injury, he's coming into a really good vein of form. And as I said on the main chat, I'd love to see that main vein of form rewarded in a slightly bigger way, but not till after he's had a chance to captain Ireland first, because he deserves that chance as well. A few names that stand out on the sheet purely because they're the kinds of names where people have asked many, many questions and asked many, many times, what does that player have to do? Or, he's banging on the door, and as we've discussed before, yeah, he's banging on the door. Who's holding the door up? Who's stopping him from getting through? So this is the chance for those players to start demonstrating why they should be in the wider squad, why they should be getting looked at, so that in 2 years' time, when we're staring down the barrel of a World Cup, why should you be there? I think it's great that there are so few players over 30. I think we're down to just the one now in Stuart McCluskey. And it's great to have his experience and his knowledge and understanding of systems and how they work as well. You want to have age and youthful exuberance combining on a tour like this. For me, I want to see a few things happen. I want to see different partnerships tried out in both games. We've got enough players that you can put out two different back rows and see how they get on, each of them. I want to see how players fit into the systems. I want to see how they react to adversity. If things are going wrong, I want to see what happens then. This is a weird thing to want from this tour, but I kind of want there to be a vicious rumor coming around afterwards that Sam and Jack had a massive bust up, like proper fists thrown and the whole lot, just so that we know they're both fighting for the place. That it's not a thing of, right, we're going to try you this game and you that game. That maybe they'll make the decision, we're going to put the player who we think is better for what we want out of this game on the pitch first, and then see how the other follows up afterwards. But that said, I think Jack Crowley needs minutes at international level this year, because I don't think he got enough of them this year. And to be honest, I'd be okay if Sam went without the minutes this year. For this tour, I think he'd be fine just to be in the setup, just to be soaking up what's going on, drinking the Kool-Aid, for want of a better term, just being an aspect of what happens and why it happens, being part of the decision-making processes, being part of creating plays and saying, no, if we do things whatever way, and not play, because, and there's a few reasons I'd want that. Firstly, give him time to just take his head out of match mode for a little bit. He's had a lot of minutes this year. And I think as well, it takes him out of the firing line. We don't need 21-year-olds taking some of the abuse that some of the couch pundits like to throw. Look, I'm a couch pundit. I have taken a couple of shots in the conversation we've had this evening. I've talked about the Lions, I've talked about the under-20s, and now, I'm going to say the same for a few players in that Ireland squad, that they do need to step up. I'm not going to name names. Players themselves know who they are, but they do need to step up. They need to prove that, as I said already, they're worthy of a spot in a couple of years. And I don't think anyone should look at the results of these two games and be calling for anybody's head afterwards. I'm kind of worried about that. I'm worried about an aspect where you'll get people saying such and such a player is terrible and he's this and he's that, and we don't need it. This is a tour. We're touring against two teams that are considerably behind us in world rankings, to give players opportunity. With that said, they'll be relatively evenly matched games. I think the Georgians will run us quite tight. I think we'll be just a bit better. I think we'll do better against the Portuguese than we will against the Georgians. I'd like to see us win both games. That's a positive thing to have happen. It's helpful before the draw takes place for the World Cup to know that if we won those two games, we keep a top seeding and everything's comfortable and all that going forward. But I want to see, realistically, aside from wanting to see the couple of wins, I want to see no injuries. I don't think any player deserves to start their summer on a rehab bench, trying to work their way back into the game. And I think just solid play and players showing what they're made of. Like I say, we've had so much talk of this player is worthy and that player is worthy. Now it's time for them to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to a Lions tour, you love looking at the squad and saying, okay, which, trying to work out what your 15 is. But I love doing that much more with this squad, this Turin squad. I think this is a fascinating group of players from an Irish standpoint. I mean, it's almost perfect. In a way, we give out about the Lions tour, but just from an Irish point of view, it is really handy to be forced to take these players out of the equation and have a look at the next group coming on. And it's especially so many of them taken out. So all these players are getting a shot. I mean, like you say, it's not just about the game at the weekend. It's about being in the camp. It's about how you're training, the effort you're putting in, the day-to-day involvement. I do agree. I really think we need to see the actual 10 jersey, as in, at the start of the week, you're going to be running the attack. That needs to be going to Crowley and possibly Frawley as well. I think Sam should take a back seat in that regard. The way selections have gone recently, it probably wouldn't surprise me if Sam did end up wearing 10. So we'll just wait and see what happens there. But no, I think right the way through the squad. I mean, I know it's kind of Leinster centric as well, but you're looking at players like Ryan Baird, who was smashing it in the last couple of weeks of the season. If he played like that all season, he could have put himself in Lions contention, let alone in this team. So he's in a good vein of form. We'll see how he goes. Then there's Tommy O'Brien, who again, same could be said for him, maybe more so. If he'd been playing, if he'd been fit the last few seasons, God only knows where he'd be now if he was showing that kind of vein of form. And this is a really good opportunity for him. But it's right through the squad, and it's not just the Leinster players. Delighted to see Craig Casey get his chance to be captain. That's for sure. There's other players there. Tom Ahern's questioned him over his injury. He has a bit of an issue. They called up Josh Murphy just in case. There's Cormac Izuchukwu. I think he's we're going to be seeing a lot of him for the full team down the line. I think he's a real. He can play four. You can play the second row. He can play six. Great option for the full Irish team, and this is a chance. I think they should start him, get the most out of him over the 2 weeks, show what he can do. Well, Thomas Clarkson as well, done well the last couple of weeks for Leinster. Loads of opportunities for players to put their hands up right throughout the squad. So these are two really interesting matches.
The fact that, as I say, loads of opportunities for loads of players.
Yeah.
And the fact that I could be wrong. I don't think there's a single centrally contracted player in the squad. And now is the chance for all of them to say, when it comes to November, I want to have a go at that centrally contracted player's jersey. I want to be in a position where I can challenge that player, and like it's such a good opportunity for all of them. And like you've named a few players, and we could go all evening naming players who have had a really good run into the end of the season and who need to take this opportunity with both fists as a result.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we're going to be covering those games as well over the coming weeks. It's definitely a lot to look forward to. This season just doesn't seem to want to end. It's going to bring us right the way through into August. Okay, listen, we're going to leave it there, man. Many thanks to Conor for joining me. And if you're watching this and you have any thoughts yourself on Ireland's expectations from these matches or who should be in the team for over the two games, do let us know in the comments. And while you're at it, please do also help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing.